We had the massive success of actually completing the license grade and the safety rating. So now we can start focusing on the race, the Road to Daytona in January. We need to work on the setup. Yeah, welcome on screen. You see Josep. Welcome on the stream. We have managed to get you on there so people can see you.
Hello, Timmy. How are you?
Yeah, perfect. So you had a plan for today, right? What we need to do?
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be our first testing session with the Ferrari GT3 in heat after your last quick test of the car. We found that it's quite a good car in the GT3 arena. You were happy with the behavior and how it felt, so we are gonna go with this. We're gonna stick to it during this whole month. So yeah, it's good. It's important that we start properly. We're gonna do first some laps for you to get up to speed with the car, get baseline data, baseline lap times, and from there we will start improving both the setup, but also we're gonna be looking at your driving.
Perfect. Nice. So it's gonna be a fun session. Actually, like if you're interested in setting up the car and knowing what to do, like this is really when this stream collaboration begins for real to show the data and how to set the car up and how to improve your driving. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna hide you when I'm driving, Josep, and then pull you back up on the stream when we're doing the analysis in between. Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Sure. Okay. So there we go. And now I'm in here. I'm gonna press test and
No,
the
before
telemetry.
Timmy, before you start running, let's go through the baseline setup now. So let's go to
Okay.
let's get out. Let's go to the garage.
Yeah, I'm going to the garage. What do you want to see?
Just one step on each page. Okay, I have this one, so let's go to chassis.
Chassis. Why are these flashing? Do they always?
Because they are on the limit. If they are yellow, they are fine. The problem is when they go to red, that it won't allow you to drive with that setting.
Okay.
Okay, if you can scroll down a bit, you can see the next. That was it.
Is that all? Yeah.
Wait, then stop it there 1 second.
As you see in iRacing, there's so much you can do with the car. Actually, to be honest, like it's not more parameters than in real, because in real, you build everything from scratch, at least in rallycross. But if you're in a one make series, then you won't be able to kind of adjust these many things as you can in this game. So it's pretty deep.
Exactly. So that's why it's important we do a proper testing development, setup development of the car before the race. Okay, and lastly, let's go to the dampers page.
Dampers.
Okay. So now the next thing we're gonna do is go to tires.
Tires.
And put minimum pressures. So starting pressure, go to the minimum.
Do I just do that?
It's already the minimum.
It's already the minimum, yeah.
Front and rear. Okay. So this is gonna be always our starting pressures.
Is that a general thing in iRacing? Minimum pressure?
Yes, correct. It's one of the caveats of this tire model.
Yeah.
So it's always minimum pressure.
We're
gonna start with this.
Should we choose how much fuel we're gonna use? It's on 52 liters right now. What are we gonna use for testing?
Well, I usually separate what is the quali setup than the actual racing setup.
Yeah.
So for racing setup, I start with the fuel level that we will start the stint with. So because this is something that we still need to analyze, let's start with 52. We're gonna do a first setup development with it.
So this first run will be just basic setup and allowing me to get the rhythm of the track again. Last stream we did a couple of laps here, so I should know the track by now.
Let's do around 11 laps to get up to speed properly.
Is it supposed to be pit speed limiter here? Oops. Alright. Is it? Yeah, there is the pit exit. Did I damage the car? No, I didn't. Probably?
I will just restart.
I'll restart there. Press test again. I thought the pit lane ended much earlier.
Put it between the lines now. Remember cold tires, so that you need to be careful on the first lap.
Yeah. Compared to the Mazda that we drove, this car feels very heavy. Like much harder to get some rotation and liveliness in the car. Also much more power, of course, and generally smoother in the setup. And do you remember what a good lap was?
Let me check.
First lap almost completed. Yeah, I mean, it feels normal. You can tell that there's in the game. It's a good baseline setup. It's kind of working. Maybe if I would ask anything balance-wise, like right of the first lap, I guess it would be like a bit better front, especially on braking. And I think this car has ABS and traction control also. You can tell on braking that. Whoop. Okay, well done. Congratulations. Okay, then I guess I gotta... How do we tell if there is damage? Or there's always damage?
Let me check. I mean, the problem is you can also destroy the tires if you do speed or something like that.
Okay. So, okay, I said I would hide you when we drive. I'll pull you back up. I forgot that last time, but... Yeah, I mean, first reaction is that it's... I don't really understand how the ABS is working. Oh my god, Timmy Hansen. Yeah. Imagine if you did this in real life. Just like crash on pit exit twice. Yeah. I am a rookie, so I have that excuse.
Regarding the balance, it's possible that the first lap, because of the temperature on the tires, the balance is different, so don't read too much on the first lap.
Yeah.
It's good to know what is the balance difference, because the first lap of a race would also be like this. But let's do at least 10 laps to get a proper reading.
Wait. No, wait. Do you see on the bottom of the screen there? Traction control off. I think I had a setting here. Now it's 12. Now it's off. Yeah, I can't. I don't think I can adjust it on the. So I just gonna run with it off. Like, gives you the best feeling for the car anyway. And then you can put it's like a filter. And it's better to understand when it's off. And I have some ABS on. Maybe it would be nice to switch off that too, but. This chicane that's coming up here, I think the entry is super fast, but then the real minimum speed needs to be in that double right in the middle. So I should brake later and use more of the entry of the chicane to actually slow the car. Whoop.
Right here. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, like that.
Okay, this is another thing that it's important for any iRacing driver or any sim racing driver. When we do testing and we do setup development, it's important to drive fast, but never at 100% of
Yeah,
your lap time,
yeah,
because
like,
otherwise you lose too much time crashing while you don't get then the feedback from the driver. So we need to understand what the behavior of the car, how we can improve it, and you
yeah.
can reach that
Like
90%.
basically
So,
what I've been doing until now, like going out, doing one lap, crashing. It's like, yeah, that's what you do when you're gaming, but now in a simulator you need to approach it a bit differently. Like in a game, you can turn damage off, for example, and then you just try by going too fast. But in this game, it's better with that real life approach to underdrive a bit. So I'm gonna do that. It's just frustrating to come into the corners that slow, but yeah, I'll do it. If you remember the previous stream, then yeah, we approached it very slowly from the beginning, and I think it was a good session overall. So I'm just gonna take it back a notch and get a feel for the car.
find your limits, build up the speed lap by lap.
Yeah,
Like a real car. You will never be doing what you were doing.
no, exactly. You would never go out and try your latest ever break point on the outlap. Like, especially in big cars like this, like it doesn't give fantastic feedback to like it does once you're on the limit, but now that I'm searching, like when I'm so far off the limit and searching for it, you gotta be a little bit careful, especially in game, and especially because I'm not really used to gaming and used to knowing exactly what the signals are that tells you. So I struggle a bit to know if I'm like 80% or 99%.
Yeah, you need to gain that feeling.
Exactly. I wonder if you should use first gear or second gear in these slow corners.
When you're up to speed, we will try both.
Yeah. Probably second, actually. It makes it a bit smoother. And that's the tricky thing. It's a bit easy to get some wheel spin when you're in first gear, but I'm feeling like I'm almost just when I'm getting to full throttle, that's when I shift. So I'm not really using the extra power much of that first gear. Starting to get the feeling for it. And why did we choose the Ferrari, Giuseppe?
So obviously coming fresh into iRacing, you didn't have experience with other cars. Each car has different behavior and different performance depending on the release and the version of iRacing. Currently, Ferrari seems to be one of the top cars into the top level racing of iRacing, so we thought it was a good indication that it would be a good choice. At the end of the day, this will depend on the balance of performance that each race imposes. We won't know that till the previous days before the race, so we need to make a selection now. You having driven already the Ferrari and being comfortable with it was also a good reason to keep it up. So yeah, we think this is going to be a good baseline, but obviously if you guys who have been driving all the other GT3s have a different opinion, just let us know what is the differences that you see between the cars, because we are very curious.
Yeah, choosing the car will be a big thing, but I don't think we have the time, the hours to spend of making a setup for each car before choosing which one we want to drive. And also we don't find out the balance of performance until the race starts. So if anybody's got a suggestion that we should try some different car too, that would be nice.
So the most competitive lap time for this car in this track is around low 44.
Okay, 5 seconds to go. Oh, we have quite high fuel now.
Yeah, that's good.
And we haven't started tweaking the setup. Although it's kind of nice. I mean, from a balance point of view, if this was a real test again, I would be pretty happy. I would be coming back to the team and saying that the car is working quite good. So we're definitely in the window. It's a good baseline setup for that they have in this game. I haven't really found all of the reference points and stuff yet. I think I can brake quite a bit later into the first corner. But again, I don't want to crash and then like we're ending the session very abruptly. So I'm taking it a bit step by step instead of crashing out all the time as we did in the beginning.
In terms of driving, remember the corners before the ovals. We need to sacrifice the entry to make the most of the exit so we can carry the speed through the whole oval section.
Okay. I'm starting to push a little bit more, being on the limit. This corner is tricky actually. It's a bit bumpy. My car wants to oversteer. Sacrifice the entry here. I'm gonna try first here then. I think I lost a bit on the end. I have always had a good exit there though. I tried to slow down even more coming into the corner, but okay, I have an equal-ish exit to my previous lap, but it wasn't worth what I paid, like coming into the corner. I'm starting to roll a lot of speed, so not really braking super late, but I'm bleeding off the brake pretty aggressively.
Try to start braking also very smoothly. We know that braking is something we need to work on and continuously working on. So keep that in the back of our mind to brake.
Yeah. That was definitely a late braking point. Okay, I think I'm starting to have quite a good feeling for the car and where the limits are at. Roll a lot of speed in this corner. Should we do one more lap and then we exit and we check the data? We see where we start to work.
Yep, exactly. Let's do that. Probably overdriving slightly this lap. I'm having a lot of movement in the car, and yeah, we'll learn how the tire is working. If the tire likes to be over the limit slightly, or if this is fast. That was a good chicane. It's always nice to end the session with a good lap, because then for sure you remember it pretty clearly. If your best lap was quite early on, like six laps run and lap 2 was your fastest, then it can be a bit hard to remember all the details that happened during that run. But now, okay, it will be clear what was going on. So now I'm gonna exit. Why don't we see just that? Where are you, Joseph? You've lost your webcam. Yeah, we lost your webcam. Maybe it's gonna come back. Quit. I'm gonna sync the data. Okay, synchronizing. Okay.
Hello, QDel80. Thanks for joining the stream. I don't speak much French, sorry. But yeah, I'm glad you're tuning in. Now we'll go into a bit of the details of what this stream will be about. So we'll be showing you really behind the scenes what is happening between driver engineer and what we're focusing on to find performance as we are preparing for the Daytona Road to Daytona in January. And I'm a rookie sim racer. I'll be making a lot of mistakes, but luckily Joseph here, grip engineer, is a professional esports engineer, also real life engineer, is working with us in rallycross, and now yeah, this is a bit how we're working to find performance in real life, and we thought we'll apply that also in the sim racing world to see if we can get competitive in such a short time. Got about a month to prepare now for that coming race. If you want to share your screen, Joseph.
Yeah. Mhm. You should be able to see now.
Yes, there it is. For some reason
So,
we don't see your camera though in Streamlabs. I don't know why.
it will still be there.
Show on stream. Maybe that works now. Yeah. Unless you're frozen. Is this frozen
Yep.
for everybody in the... Yeah. You're looking good in this angle though.
You can be the best mover,
Yeah. Definitely.
huh?
Well,
Thank you, Timmy.
okay. It's just like that. I don't know what's happening. Let's dive into the data and see what we
Yeah.
want to change.
So this is your last lap, which was obviously much faster than the others. We can compare where we gain all the time.
Mm.
The top variance graph is the delta between the two laps. You can see that you were actually a bit slower during the first half of the lap. But as we said before, when you prepare that last corner before the oval properly, that exit speed increase makes you gain time during the whole oval.
Yeah.
So you went from minus 0.5 a tenth slower on the braking before turn number 6, the last one before the oval, to 1.5 tenths faster at the end of the straight. So that means, yeah, you were gaining a lot through that section.
Yeah. Also,
Then
the chicane itself, it looks like I braked a bit late. I was super confident that it was not too late braking. So I was just kind of braking later without braking too hard and then still trying to roll the speed. And I think it's quite clear to see there in this section that, like, yeah, I braked later, but also still carried similar advantage all the way. And then I got a good exit both laps.
Exactly. For that, you gain 2.5 tenths.
Yeah.
Just because of carrying a bit more speed through the whole entry of the chicane. Then the exit was the same speed. But yeah, basically you can be more aggressive on that entry as you discover now. With those couple of things, you gain almost 4 tenths on the lap. So yeah, you still have work to do. Well, but what we can see is the braking applications and your driving, how it's much more consistent that we had seen in the past with the MX-5s. So for some reason, you seem to be more consistent when you have a more powerful car.
Okay. Good.
We can also see that on the second to last lap, you had a bit of oversteer moments on exit.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
We can see here. Blue is this steering wheel angle. So on the white, which is the previous lap to the fastest, we can see this is the exit of the hairpin. You had to do this correction with the steering wheel while at the same time releasing throttle a bit or lifting up a bit. That meant that you obviously were losing a bit of time there. I can see something similar at the exit of the turn 5, the other hairpin. You had to make a correction with the steering wheel and also lifting quite a lot of throttle.
Yeah, I don't know if it's is it normal to run with the traction control off or on?
I think that is depending on everybody.
Okay.
If you're able to control it, I think you're gonna get the better feeling. The same with ABS.
Yeah.
But we can try different levels. What you can try is maybe
Well,
a lower level of traction control.
Yeah, ABS and traction control is a little bit different in one way. traction control, I'm happy to run with it off, because anyway, just controlling the power as I do with the throttle. But the ABS, I've never raced a car with ABS, but isn't it true that that can control each wheel separately, which is something that I can't do with my left foot? So I can only control, like, if I'm locking the inside right front, the only thing I can do is come off the brake pedal and actually reduce the braking on all four wheels, whereas the ABS would that only decrease the brake on that one wheel, or would it decrease just my braking pressure?
I think it depends, but the important bit is how the ABS is controlled. So what is it targeting to? What we call the calibration of the ABS. If the calibration is not on the maximum performance, then you won't be reaching as good braking as the others.
Yeah.
That is the main issue.
Yeah, you can't
It's the same case with traction control.
Yeah.
It's not just how it applicates or how it controls, but it's what target controlling. And this is usually something that as performance engineers in the real world, it's what we are adjusting a lot of times.
Yeah.
But in this case, we don't have access to the calibration of the ABS. We can only adjust the amount of intervention, so the amount of cutting, but not when it cuts.
Yeah, and that's something like, unless you have your level of insight into how software and the car is working, you expect these things to just be perfect. That the ABS is a perfect system, and you turn it up or down, and it does exactly what you want. But when you learn more about the system, yeah, maybe it's good to be skeptical of how it's actually interacting with the driving.
Well, that's the, let's say, one of the drawbacks of iRacing compared to real racing. We, as an engineer or as yourself as a driver, we cannot know what is the calibration to this, and we cannot change it. That makes it, yeah, for me, it makes me uncomfortable to be running something so crucial in terms of performance without being able to control it better.
Yeah. So can you? I need to come. Yeah. I'll come back in 1 minute. Can you explain to the listeners or to the viewers how do we approach? I also want to hear this actually, but starting from scratch, like I was pretty happy with the car, balance-wise, it's quite good. Where do we begin to change the setup to find more performance? I'll be back in 1 minute.
Yeah. So basically, the way we work in motorsport is that the driver is always the best sensor. Call it exactly him being the best sensor because he has the best feedback that we can get in terms of the car. So in this case, the first thing we would do would be to do the brief, like we're gonna do now with Timmy, and understand how he felt with the car, what can we look at, what can we improve, and this is always the first step. And we need to do this as soon as the driver gets out of the car, so he has very fresh memory from the feeling of the car. Once we have heard this, after we go to look at the data. That way, if there is first already an issue with the car, being performance-wise or reliability-wise, we jump directly into that first. Usually we are tight on time between sessions, so you want to be in control of it and looking at it as soon as possible. Once we have gone through all the reliability major issues, if we have something performance-wise that we need to focus on, we jump into that if it's a big one, but then otherwise we go through all the data and make that. Let's look at the general data as we have seen here, which is the driver input. We could already see this oversteer or understeer moment just from looking at the driver input. So we can already start feeling also with what is the balance of the car around each section. But yes, Timmy, I was saying that the first thing we should do is to go through the brief of the car with the driver because he is always the sensor.
Okay, so basically to run through the run, I'm not on the limit yet, so that's important to remember. There's a lot to find in my driving alone. In the first corner, Looking for the braking point. Probably braked a bit too late in my best lap. Overshot the apex a little bit. But in the corners where I have good control, like in turn 2, turn 3, it's it's very nicely balanced. I think the key is to get this little bit of rotation on the apex, which I'm getting. Traction wise, it might be a bit low. I'm not sure if it's normal or, but yeah, as you see exactly where you are with the cursor now, this lift here, it's that's a tricky area, and the green throttle here, yeah, I'm having to be extremely smooth and cautious with the throttle. Also here you see me lifting in the green a little bit, so yeah, traction is very on the limit. Braking is good. Not there. Braking and entry is very nice in the car, but maybe traction would be where I would feel the car setup could give me the most, just to be able to be confidently on throttle. And if I can do it confidently, I can probably do it more consistently earlier as well.
Okay. First of all, we need to remember this is going to be not a sprint race, but an endurance race. That means we're going to do long sprints and a long race. We need a car that is, besides fast, that it's comfortable to be fast, because otherwise, with such a long race, it's very easy to make a mistake if you have a car on the limit of the balance.
Yeah.
And in that sense, you lose any time that you will have gained with having that setup. You will lose when you do a mistake. So we need to do a car that is easy to drive on the limit, so you can drive consistently on that limit through the whole race.
Yeah, that's actually a very
So
good
this is the
point.
kind of thing.
And
Yeah.
Like to add on to what I just said, it's very comfortable on the brakes and rotation, but yeah, the uncomfortable bit is on power and having to manage like this little small lift I'm doing here, like feeling inside the car is that you're maximum on the limit and having to watch out very carefully for what the car wants to do. Well, one easy fix, I suppose, is just to turn on the traction control, but that feels like cheating.
Exactly, and we need to think that we had ABS on the braking. So
yeah,
we had ABS on the braking, but no traction control at the exit. What
Yeah.
will happen if we turn off the ABS? Will we also have an oversteer car at the entry, or the other way? Will we have an understeer? We will need to adjust that a bit and look at it going lower, I would say, with the ABS level, so we can get closer to the maximum performance of the car.
Okay, so is that the first step that we should do? Turning on off the ABS so all systems are switched off?
I think we should do that, but before we jump into that quickly, let's go through the data and see what else we need to do. The other thing we see in this first corner is you were saying that on the last lap you brake late, but as you can see on the previous lap you brake even later. What do you mean? That means that you could keep higher speed during the entry of the corner, but then the minimum was lower.
Actually, yeah, the previous lap. Now you're comparing last to previous. Yeah, both overshot the entry. So in the white there, I overshot quite a lot, but both missed the apex. I'm not driving well there actually yet, so maybe, I mean.
Exactly, and this means that you're missing a good reference.
Yeah.
Because when you find the reference, like on the next corner, you're always braking and lifting at the same place. Here is where you can see this is a driver that is looking for a reference or trying new references. But once you lock a reference, you can then follow this lap by lap.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not like first of all you need to drive well before setting the car up, and it's only once you feel consistent then you can work on the setup. So maybe that's not turn 1 is not maybe the best example. At least the entry, the exit is still the same. The exit wouldn't change even though I nailed the brake point. It would still be tricky to get on power, so that still remains the same.
We can still do some adjustments to get a bit more traction on exit. We will do that. But we can look at the rest of the corners. We can see in turn 3 you had, as I was saying, much clear reference point, braking quite consistent, quite smooth. We can still work a bit more on that, but yeah, getting smooth. We also had the downshift, so that's why we can see a bit of a spike over there. Minimum speeds, we can see difference on minimum speeds. So yeah, we need to see when we are reaching the limit of the car there. But as we were saying, we are building up speed through the session, and we need to continue doing that. So it's good that we do it in this safe way. If we go to turn 5, you can see very, very, very consistent lap by lap. Braking was almost the same. The reference, the lift off was exactly the same. Minimum speed, yeah, you rolled a bit more speed on the previous lap, but then that meant that you were on the limit when on throttle,
Yeah.
and that hurt your speed during the next straight.
Yeah. One more thing
This
that
is
we
the
see
type of, yeah,
one more thing
go
that we
ahead.
see consistently is these small lifts coming out of the corners.
Yeah, this is something that we need to work on, as we were saying, that when you see that on exit of the corners together with a correction on the steering wheel, basically the steering wheel uh, ends up steering on the opposite direction that you're turning. The exit of the corner, it means that you have oversteer moment, and the driver needs to lose a bit of speed because of that. So this is something that you want to diminish as much as possible. And again, we need to think this was only lap 6. You're going to be doing much longer stints. The rear tires are going to be much worn out than this.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is only going to increase. We
Yeah.
need
This would
to,
be disaster for tire wear.
exactly, generally, we would create a car that has understeer at the beginning of the stint, because knowing that the tire wear will make the car more oversteering through the stint. We want something that is optimal, especially in the middle of the stint, because that means that it's drivable in both ends of the stint.
Yeah.
While if you set up the car to be perfect on the first 5 laps, then you have a very bad car at the end of the stint, and the average lap time ends up being much worse.
Mm.
So we need to optimize that. That's why when we do the setup development, we need to do quite a lot of laps just to be able to get to that tire wear and that area to be doing it properly, so we can get to a proper setup. Um, so yeah, we will do this during this month, but it's interesting that we can already see this very clear oversteer moment. So
Yeah.
we're gonna work on that. Just finish the lap through the chicane. Yeah, chicane as we saw, it was this entry carrying more speed. Again, we need to find the references here.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the
we
key
will keep
there is to
working
brake
on that.
late but never hard. And I was even like coming onto the throttle a little bit after that first left-hander to to carry the speed. And I think it's important to always brake feeling very confident, but then not really pushing to maximum late braking point, but just like as late as you can while still being confident to get off the brake and rolling the speed.
Exactly. And the key to this chicane is to try to brake as in a straight line as possible at the entry. Use the curves carefully. We know how high they are, and they can make you jump and lose a lot of lateral grip.
Mm.
And try to make the minimum inputs possible. Try to not make big rotations with the car and keep the car as straight as possible through the chicane. But yeah, again, this is something that with more and more laps we will keep gaining.
Okay.
One thing that we can adjust now already
Mm.
is the camber, because we will see what is the temperatures. So if we look at the last lap, we look at the whole lap. What can we see here? This is the different temperatures of the tires on each tire. So we have front left, inner, center, and outer temperatures.
Mm.
This usually is measured on a real car with infrared sensors of temperature pointing at different sections of the tire. So in this case, we have the same data that we could have on a real car. What can we read from this? Well, the front camber, both front left and front right, we can see that the outer temperature, which is the yellow one, it's always much, much lower than the inner and center camber. This means that the camber is too high. This means that the outer section of the tire almost doesn't touch the ground at any corner. Usually it should touch the ground on the highest lateral loaded corner, which means that the moment that you are doing more lateral Gs on that direction, the tire should be flat on the surface. What we're going to see here is that we are not reaching the point at any corner.
Yeah.
of the track. So what we need to do, we need to diminish the front camber. This is the first adjustment that we can already do.
Okay.
That way, we're gonna increase the grip and we're gonna lower the wear.
Oh, the front. Yeah.
On the rear, we can see rear left. Even though they are much closer, we don't see big differences like we saw in the front. There is still a bit too much camber. So with the rear, we could go lower, but with a smaller step than on the front. While the rear right, it's almost close. As we can see here, the temperatures are almost the same. So we see 2 degrees of difference. So I would say we can leave the rear right as it is. We can decrease a bit the rear left, and we can decrease a lot the front.
Okay.
So this is something else we will do.
Yeah.
And then
Should we
in
do?
terms of, let's do this.
Yeah,
steps.
we mentioned camber and ABS. Should we begin with camber because it looked very far off where it should be? We don't want to do multiple changes at the same time, right?
Well, in this case, they are quite separate. So we're gonna do the cambers, we're gonna do the ABS, and we're gonna do also some adjustments for the traction because we are already seeing that is a clear issue. So, Tim, if you wanna put your setup page,
Yeah,
let's go back into the testing session.
Yeah, I'm just starting the game
and
again.
We will do
it takes a while. iRacing is pretty slow to launch the game. I don't know if this is the same for everyone.
Yeah, no, I think it is. How was the middle of the corner? When you had
Good.
you have really a lot of long corners here.
In the easy corners, I'm always trying to get the most possible rotation that I can achieve on entry and middle. So yeah, in
turn
that
one.
Way, turn one, I wouldn't say no. I'm just braking too late there. There it's driver issue. I need to find my references, but yeah, in this map here, turn 4 and turn 6, turn 7. I'm trying to get as much rotation as I can possibly get. Turn on the middle and apex. So there, the front, I think a bit more front grip with less camber will help. And that will probably translate to turn 1 as well at some point when I'm driving well.
Yeah, so let's do those adjustments first, and then we will analyze again. So first of all, garage. Let's go to garage.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I just change the how I change the ABS? So should we do that in garage? Things.
You can change it in garage, but here you can change which keys you have to change it while you're driving.
Yeah. Should I?
No, you don't have to.
Well, I'll just change it in garage.
Okay. So we go to chassis.
Chassis.
ABS setting is in the top right in the in-car dial.
ABS.
Probably at 3. Let's put it to 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Traction control setting. We can leave it at 1. Maybe it has, or we can turn it off.
I think the 1 is off. Yeah. 1 is off. Camber. Left
camber.
Front.
We said to go left front. Let's go to 2.8, minus 2.8.
This way. So less minus means that the tire is flatter. 2.8 you said?
2.8.
2.8. The rears?
The rears, we said the right rear to leave it as it is.
Wait,
the left rear, minus 2.5. Yeah, this is something you need to take into account. Every time you click apply on the right, it can change slightly because you're adjusting the car and the whole kinematics of the car can change different parameters by themselves. So we need to readjust every time you do an adjustment.
Yeah.
Make sure that the rest are where you want.
Okay.
Left rear camber, minus 2.5. Let's put it at minus 2.
Minus 2. Apply. Yeah.
Okay, we say camber. Okay, and let's do something for traction. The other thing you need to adjust is the left rear toe in. If you can see, it was plus 1.5, and because of the adjustment of the camber, it has gone to plus 1.6. Take down to 1.5. Okay. And then we can try to adjust first the traction with the dampers. We're gonna do a small adjustment before we do any more.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're gonna do is the rear damper low speed compression damping. We
Yeah.
want to make it softer.
Low
So we're
speed.
gonna go to 1.
Is that
1 click.
this lower click more open?
Yeah.
Okay. 1.
And wait, and we're gonna do the front low speed rebound. That is at 5. Let's put it also down to 2. Yeah. Okay, and we can try. Let's do apply.
Yeah.
And we can try like this. Let's do again 7 laps at least. We can test it.
So loads of changes here. I think the most, the one I will feel the most. Let me just hide you while I drive, or I don't know if it's nice to keep you there. Maybe it is. You don't hide anything. I will keep you there. It's nice to have some company. Yeah, I think that what I will feel the most at first is the ABS, and then the camber and those things will make me generally feel better or worse coming a little bit into the stint. Now I need to remember it's cold tires again.
Exactly, it's cold tires again, and the ABS can change the balance of the braking a bit if we were on the limit in one of the axles. So let's just leave it.
Oh, lock up. Yeah, so the ABS was definitely... I locked front right.
Remember that depending on your brake application, you will also lock more or less one of the axles. So
yeah. I'm gonna start easy again. Normally, if we do a test session, we like to change one thing at a time. But now, because I think, because we're just getting started, and we dive into multiple changes immediately. So now we're the delta time will be comparing to this session's best lap. What was it? 47.9, correct? Was it? Previous session?
47.7 was in the previous lap.
Yeah, it's definitely more difficult to slow the car without ABS. Like for now, it feels like the ABS is a good thing to have on.
Yeah, we need to play with different levels of ABS to see what is our liking. Just limit a bit our way to tune the car in the end. So we need to use the other tools we have.
Oh, yeah, big lockup. I think we're gonna turn the ABS back on because already like it's much harder to drive without it completely. And I'm pretty sure it's helpful. Should I just turn it up 1? Or maybe I should. What do you think, Joseph? Should I just like adapt to where the limit is now, even though I have to brake a bit earlier? Maybe we sacrifice some lap time at first, but understand the car. Or is it better to just jump in with the best setup?
No, if we think we are too far from the limit without it, let's put it back on. At the end of the day, we want to win the race. So
yeah, I'll put it back on 3 as we had it in the previous session.
Yeah.
As I was front locking both times. Will there be pit stops during the race?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, so definitely need to go fix that.
Yeah, immediately now, like I brake the same place, but now I felt I braked way too early, even though the tires are really cold. And before, I locked the right front there, and I would have had to brake even earlier. So yeah, I think the ABS is a pretty good system.
We will keep it on that.
Yes. But these are the interesting things. Like all changes are not in the good direction. Often you make a change and it proves to be the wrong one, but then you understand a bit more of the car, which is also helpful. So now the only difference to the previous session is the camber and the clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely more front already. I had to be quite aggressive there to get rotation before, and now when I did that, I had a slight oversteer.
Do you have it everywhere? After corner?
Just there for now. Like when you feedback, you comment on those highlight moments. There's a lot of moments where you can't comment really. Like in that corner right there. You can tell the traction is potentially better. I still had one of those micro lifts coming out of the corner. But the rest of it, I was under the limit and it was just smooth. So I can't really tell then if it's better or worse. The tires should be up to temperature now and I should be able to push like I did before. Already a similar lap time.
Going up the speed.
Finally I hit the apex in turn 1. I tried to hold on to it to see what happened. But yeah, I do need to correct. Nice we didn't hit the wall.
Keep going.
Do you get dirty tires in the game when you do that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You can affect the temperature of the tire.
Yeah.
It was a very famous tweet that happened in I think it was a spa race, endurance race, a couple of years ago, where some of the team racers found that putting through some of the grass, I don't remember which corner, will turn down the temperature of the tire without losing much speed. They will do that absolutely every lap.
Wow.
To keep the tire right.
Yeah, that's gaming in a nutshell there.
This is a kind of exactly. This is something that I think was forgiven afterwards, but there was a lot of thoughts during that race.
It's definitely more oversteer in the car. On the middle. What happened before was the traction, so that's not due to the cambers. That was just me trying to see if I could keep the foot down and not lose control, which wasn't possible. But yeah, on the rotations, entry and middle, more oversteering now, which is probably fast if I can just control it nicely.
This means that it's purely from the camber, so we can see the effect that we were saying. Before we were underusing the front tires because of not being completely flat on the ground. Now we can use the whole of the tire. You can see some of the benefits of being able to look at the data. At the same time, then we need to just perfectly the balance for the whole corner because this affects all the sections of the corner. While what we adjusted with the dampers was purely for the exit of the corner. So we will need to do it there.
Your volume is a bit low again, right?
Is it better now?
Yeah. I got a weird lag and steering wheel went light for a second. I don't know what that was. Something with my computer. Cost me some time on the exit. There I will be able to gain as soon as I trust the front. Like, you need so much confidence flying through that chicane. But yeah, I will be able to push it there more. I like that chicane. Like, you can go really fast and you always feel like you can gain a little bit more. Cool. Or maybe I'm just off far from the limit there, I'm not sure.
You will find your rhythm on your face.
Wait, my monitor here on the side will switch off with Streamlabs and everything unless I do something. Okay. No, we won't switch off the whole stream.
The light. No, we don't want that. It's the light of the screen.
I know at 11:45 there's a race. Should we do that race and see if we're competitive? Or should we keep testing?
That. We have not done many changes.
No. I think that's a fixed setup event. But anyway, it's kind of interesting to see if we can be competitive. I did some race in this series already on that track actually, so I know the track.
Oh, it's not Daytona. Okay.
It's not Daytona, no. It's but it is the Ferrari.
So yeah, before we can do any proper setup development, it's important that we get up to proper speed with the car. Otherwise, the feedback from Timmy is not that accurate.
No.
Because we are masking a lot of the issues. We are masking a lot of the issues because of the driving, under driving the car or driving below the limit. So it's gonna be good to do a bit more driving.
Yeah, but it was already good. Like, I think what we can conclude, if we summarize what we just did, was that the ABS is definitely necessary to have switched on. And the camber did make the front grip better mid-corner. The traction was not improved in the last one, so the clicks, we did those for the traction. I wouldn't say they helped, but yeah, the rest was effective. I'm not sure still if the front camber was a positive or not, but yeah, it definitely gave more front grip. So it was interesting, but I'm not sure I could go faster with that setting yet.
I think this is a way to look at it. So for me, there is two different things. The front camber needs to be optimized for sure. Otherwise, you're underusing grip of the tire.
Yeah.
You're losing grip of the car for no reason because you're also worsening the wear. What we need to do then is readjust the balance all around the corner, because the step that we did with the clicks was, I think, there you go, it's fixed setup.
It's fixed setup, yeah, but
There's
ABS
a lot
4,
of ABS.
ABS 4, traction control 4.
And you were running 50.1 of brake pressure bias instead of 49.1,
Okay,
which is something you can adjust here. So
we
you
can
can
adjust
go
it.
1% at the
Where?
top right. In
Top
car,
right.
in car dials, that's the one.
Should I change it?
Yeah,
There?
50.1. So yeah, we have the same reference.
Apply.
So now you're gonna test what's the difference or how you feel with a lot of ABS and a lot of traction control.
Yeah.
The rest,
The cambers are still very.
yes,
Wait, what is this? Plus. Oh, toe. Plus. So the cambers
Yeah.
in the rear are, I guess, similar. We didn't change that much, but the front camber is what we changed away from.
No,
Thanks.
what is especially important is that here the springs are much stiffer than, or are quite stiffer than we were running.
Okay.
So this setup is a bit different. Let's try it and see how you feel with it.
Yeah.
You will see the effect of the setup and the effect of the ABS and traction control settings.
Hello. Qualifying for your race is about to begin. Okay, that wasn't much practice. It will be a difficult race. I did some race already on this offline. But yeah, much harder when you jump in with the
How did it
without
go?
warming up. Was I fourth? I think I was a bit off the pace, like half second a lap compared to the winner that time. It looks like when I drove go-karts in Asper Ring. Roba is commenting. Yeah, that was
What is
the
that?
pinnacle. It's probably, I don't know this username, but I suppose we did some go-kart practice when we were younger, and we did 1 million laps on this track, trying to become the next Formula One superstars. This was when we were like 10 years old.
You're basically the next Formula One.
Make sure your mic is good, Joseph.
Can you see me now?
Yeah. Can be so aggressive on turning in with the brakes on with ABS activated. It's very unnatural for me who's not used to having ABS. think this is still free practice. I don't think this is qualifying. I hope not. I should have focused more. No, it's free practice. We get 2 laps to make our qualifying.
That's right.
Yeah, working with Sam now. Sorry, I'm a bit too slow at reading the comments, but yeah, it's nice to be back on the go-kart tracks with Sam, my son. He's 6 now, and yeah, we're having a lot of fun being back on the go-kart tracks. It's good to be back there. Definitely one of the best times in motorsport overall. Just like enjoying driving and having fun with the friends. The friends was like the best part. And so many good memories from those days. A lot more understeer in the car than what we had. Oops. Okay, first qualifying lap. Okay, 50.9. Let's see how we did.
Position 5 we are?
Position 5, yes. 50.5. I would have needed. Oh, 50.3 just needed. I think that was the leader improving actually, so we stay P5. Yeah, but
So we're not that far taking into account you've never driven this car on this.
yeah,
on this
exactly.
track.
I have driven this car on this track in the previous stream, but not like in a previous race off stream. But yeah, without warm up, you definitely lose a little bit. I think that was a decent lap though.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can always shave off a couple of tenths with a bit more practice. But now, yeah, now let's get into the race. What I do remember is that it was crazy hard to overtake on this track.
Yeah, it's a tricky track.
Yeah, it's so
Turn
twisty.
1, maybe the best.
Yeah.
Turn 1 or turn 2, the best overtaking occasion.
Yeah, unfortunately my worst corner was the last corner, so that didn't really help me last time I raced.
This is the one we were doing also the MX5, isn't it?
No, it was a different track. But yeah, I think this track is a bit too small for this car. It needs wider. It's like heavy, big car. It needs a bigger track. But yeah, we'll be lining up in P6, it looks like. I saw the tips you sent me, Joseph, about sim racing in general. From where did you get those tips from? And can you tell us what they were?
So those tips were on the official broadcast of iRacing IMSA series, which there was the first race 12 days ago or 13, 2 weeks ago. So yeah, what were they, Timmy?
Yeah, they were. Let me read them.
Three tips.
The tips were:
So
it's an endurance, not a sprint. Traffic management is important. And the third and best tip was make it to turn 2.
exactly, this is something that we have experienced already with. We need to be careful.
Yeah.
Traffic management is another thing we also need to consider for our race. You need to take into account that there's going to be LMPs or LMDH or LMH cars around you much faster than you. You will need to manage them and let them through without losing much time.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is something we need to practice.
Yeah. The race we're going to do is 2.5 hours, right?
Yeah, it's the same that the IMSA first race.
Yeah. Yeah, so that will be hard. Feels like we have a long road to go before we're fully
Exactly.
there. But we have started now working on the setup. Now let's see if we are competitive. I don't really understand how to attack on the entries with this ABS, because it feels like you have so much potential until you're suddenly over the limit. But you have to use the ABS in your favor somehow.
That's the tricky bit of ABS. It's math with the behavior of the car, and how to drive it on the limit is also difficult.
Yeah.
So let's see how you do it now with more ABS, and see if that's the direction we want to go.
Yes. Oh, here we go. Do we go? Okay. I find these rolling starts very confusing.
Now that we're doing the warming up, this is something in iRacing it's very difficult because of the tire model. But in reality, you can see even in Formula One, drivers doing. Christ, I can't even play.
Sorry, what did you say?
First of all, don't crash the car.
Yeah.
That's important. And second, warming up of the tires. We can see even in Formula One in real life how they do the S's very, very fast. That don't usually help as much as you would like, because that is only warming up the very outer surface of the tire, and also it's a surface that you get rid of it every time you spin the tires, you do wheel spin. So what you actually want is to warm up the inner surface of the tire, the inner material of the tire.
Yeah.
And that is much slow, and the only way to do it is applying high loads to the tire. That means going through a proper hard braking or through a high-speed corner. Obviously, it is difficult to do, and that's why the Formula One drivers do the S's, but it's the only way to actually warm up the tires. The fast S's they do, they are not that useful.
Make it to turn 2 was the tip, yeah? Yeah, see, that guy should have read it.
Careful.
This guy should have read it all. Oh my god. We survived, though.
How did you do?
didn't go so well.
How did you survive that?
I don't know how we survived that. That was carnage.
Yeah. The carnage was clearly rallycross reaction time. The only way
Yeah.
to survive that.
It's so hard when someone spins in front of you to know if you should go like left or right, in front or behind the guy.
So we are now in position 7.
Yeah.
We have 2 seconds to the guy behind us. We have plenty of time at the back. We need to focus on attack the front right.
Okay.
So,
I need to concentrate a bit more because I've been driving pretty shit.
they have cycles and they're gonna make a mistake.
Okay, things can happen here. Not sure if this is the moment to attack. Nothing up. Try to have a look mid-corner.
Mutation, you already have an incident count of 8. If you get 17, you are disqualified.
Yeah, I think I tapped someone in that start carnage, and I also tapped the guy in front on the formation lap. So those are 4 each. Now I'm starting to find the rhythm a bit better. Too late in photo. I was a bit too close to the guy.
Currently P6.
Okay. I don't think we dive into here, eh? Bit too brave.
Try in turn 1. Yeah, close enough.
This track is so narrow and twisty, it's really hard even if you're close to get a gap.
Just put the pressure on. They're gonna be the mistake.
Okay.
Focus on not doing that yourself.
From the leader, it's good pace.
He's doing quali laps.
Yeah.
You're doing 50.7. Not outside. We will catch up.
No, it's actually those first two corners are good for me.
Probably going to be
Focusing on the next guy then. Okay, thank you again.
Okay.
Sometimes
We are
sim
P4
racing is
currently.
yeah. Sim racing can be so frustrating and also like so easy at the same time. And people just go off around it.
Let's focus on the as fast as we can. We still
Yes.
quite a lot.
Good lap. Not my personal best. Good lap.
How is the balance of the car? Does it change a lot since the beginning?
No, it's pretty understeer generally. Like it feels super easy to drive, just like you're on rails and just going around.
Yeah, we know that means we are far from the limits of tire. I'm pretty sure you something control maybe might see how that extra performance will go.
My personal best.
So, good luck. Between 1 second, the guy in front.
See, extremely equal. I did that chicane really well the last lap. Somehow. Don't really know how. Leader 50.5, we're doing 50.6. Not bad, not the best.
Good times away. You gain another half a second versus P3.
Weekending there and all that. That was good. Wow, nearly too late. Like if you make a mistake in that corner, we drop so far.
Yeah, you have 3 seconds of margin with the next guy. That's good. Taking it clean.
Maybe you can attack the curb there somehow to gain time in the chicane. How long is this race?
Still understeer?
Yeah,
2 minutes
less
left.
understeer though.
Okay.
And now I didn't really focus in the beginning of the lap, but yeah, it's still understeery generally, but not as much as it was in the beginning.
Do you think this is too much ABS and traction control then?
Yeah, like traction control, I'm just like slamming the foot straight down on the floor in each exit. And it's not really doing anything, especially in the beginning. But like mid-corner here, it's a bit more loose in the rear. Now I'm talking at the same time. It's a bit more loose in the rear there. Last lap.
Huh? Okay.
I mean, I definitely have some work to do before I'm as fast as all these guys, which I have to be. I can do all the best setting in the world and not win if I don't drive fast. But we're not far away.
Exactly.
It's just understanding
Couple
how
of
to
tens,
use.
we lost a lot of time.
Yeah, like how to use that ABS in my advantage. That's, I think, where to gain the time.
Yes.
And actually, yeah, this car feels very understeery. So maybe someone likes that setup. For me, it's maybe not ideal, but
Exactly. I think next time we need to do. I mean, if you can get some practice in between, it would be good. Just driving practice, and then we will work on setup, and we need to do that on testing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we don't progress, and setup is a big part of this. And at the same time, you need to be ideally driving on the track we're gonna do the race. So
Yeah.
you can actually use that experience later on the race.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say for
I adjusted my mic settings now. I saw someone commented that my volume was low, so I adjusted it a bit. Hopefully it's better next time. Still also rookie sim racer, but also rookie streamer.
Yeah, we're all learning here. Exactly. So let's work on the car on Daytona next session.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tweaks that we do.
Let's focus in on the race that we're gonna do. But it's also valuable to get some sim racing experience. But most of all, we gotta be quick in Daytona with the Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna focus on that. We're gonna be doing more data analysis. We're gonna be improving the setup and the driving. So yeah, if you can get some driving in between just to get you more up to speed with the car. But yeah, that's gonna be our focus next session. If you want to join us and keep learning how do we do this process, please don't miss our next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for tuning in today.
Will it be here too?